We are live from 912 East Main Street, Alabama.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yep.
This is the Big Deal Podcast, brought to you and powered by New Covenant Baptist Church in Albertville, Alabama. And on this podcast, we're asking the question, what's the big deal about all things Bible, theology, and culture? I'm Justin.
I'm Brad.
Welcome to the Big Deal.
Welcome to the big deal.
Is this our new
Where
jingle?
we try to keep it real. Yeah, I don't know. Sounds good.
How you doing, Brad?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing?
I'm great. I got a little bit of a headache, but I'm okay. I'm gonna power through it. I'm gonna let the pain give me energy right now.
You can't have my pain.
You can't have I'm gonna put my pain into my muscles.
Yes.
With where I keep my emotions.
My pain gives me power.
All right, I got a question for you.
Okay.
All right, hey, would you rather
Yes.
give up air conditioning and heating for the rest of your life,
Okay.
or give up the internet for the rest of your life?
Ooh, that's hard. I really like the internet.
And I really like AC.
I do too. Do I have to stay in my house? My house is not designed to not have AC and heat.
Yeah, that's the deal. You don't get it.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. I think I'm going to cut off the internet, man.
You're gonna cut the internet off?
Yeah, I think
And
so.
keep the AC and heat.
It's going to make a podcast hard.
Yeah. Your podcast career would be over.
No, I mean, here's the deal. My decision to not have the internet for myself really hurts me. Cutting off the AC and heat at the house makes my wife hate me.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I would cut the internet off too.
You would?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Well, it's because
I didn't know.
when it comes down to it, it's like the internet is. I can do everything I need to do without it.
You still got your Encyclopedia Britannicas.
And so, you would just be sacrificing knowledge. I'm just not going to know anymore. I'm not going to know everything.
Know anything.
Yeah.
Oh man, God, sermon prep's going to take forever again.
I don't use the internet for sermon prep though.
Why not?
Because I have Logos.
It don't use
It's a
the
Bible
internet?
software. No, it doesn't.
But if it crashed, you could never buy it again.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I can still use
I
computer.
mean, technically.
I'd have to get them to call them and send me a CD or something.
Yes.
Put it on a floppy disk.
Yeah. Yeah. I use the internet all the time.
Yeah.
For research all the time.
Yeah.
I ask AI questions now.
I would read a lot of books.
Yeah.
I'd have to read a lot of books.
Oh yeah, that's what I used to do. If you'll look over to your left.
You see all these books in here, people? Look at all these books.
Yeah. I used to read those.
Yeah. I have all of those books on my computer.
Exactly.
Yeah, and
exactly.
more. I have I have so many books.
So many.
My library on Logos is, I can see the number. I have over 5,000 books
Yes.
on my Logos library.
Jonathan Edwards was one of the most famous theologians of all time.
Yeah.
And a brilliant guy. Died of a smallpox vaccine when he was going to go be the dean of one of the Ivy League schools.
Oh, yeah. Yale.
Yale.
Yep.
He owned 50 books.
Wow. I have 5,000 books.
Jonathan
Edwards.
You are 100 times smarter than Jonathan Edwards.
I have all of Jonathan Edwards' books, actually.
I have them right up there. Look, I've read them. There they are. See it? See it on the
He's
side
hard
up there?
reading. He's difficult reading.
He is forever.
He takes forever to say
Because
a
he
simple
tells
thing.
you for 17 pages what he's not saying.
Yep.
Because
That's exactly right.
I feel like
Do you read Religious
he grew
Affections?
up. Yes,
Yeah,
he
that's
grew
the one.
up with somebody, or
Yeah.
maybe it was his wife. Somebody. He always had to explain what he's not saying.
Yeah, someone
And
was just nagging
somebody
him like
was
crazy,
nagging him.
man.
He was like, "I'm not saying this. I'm not saying this. I'm not saying this. I'm not saying this. I'm not saying this. What I am saying is," and they're like, "Oh, so you're saying no?"
Yeah. So Jonathan Edwards was a Puritan. He was First Great Awakening. He's one of the guys in the U.S. part of the First Great Awakening. Great guy, writer. Seems to have been a great dude. I don't. Maybe there's stuff that's come out. I don't know.
I don't know.
He wrote good books. If you like John Piper,
As far as I know, he didn't cheat on his wife or nothing.
yeah. If you like John Piper,
He might own slaves though. I don't know.
Yeah, he might have owned slaves. It's
I don't know.
1700 something. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
He probably did.
Probably did.
Let's see it. Let's look it up.
I'm guessing he did.
All right. I'm gonna guess he did too.
I think his wife's name was Sarah.
Oh yeah, did Jonathan
George Whitfield
Edwards
was his bro, and he owned slaves.
Slaves. Oh, George Whitfield owned slaves?
Yeah, in Georgia.
Yes, he did. He owned slaves.
There you go.
Man.
Canceled.
Cancel. We're done with you, Jonathan Edwards.
Stupid Jonathan Edwards.
But if you like John Piper, you like Jonathan Edwards.
John Piper did not own slaves.
He did not own slaves,
No.
but he basically ripped religious affections for his own book.
He turned it into, he's like, I'm going to call it Desiring God.
Yep, that's right.
Repackage it from religious affections to Desiring God.
That's right.
Yep.
God is most glorified when you're most satisfied within him.
Glorified in us when we're most satisfied in him.
Yeah, that's Religious Affections by Jonathan Edwards.
That is a fact. But what he's not saying is,
the same thing happens with C.S. Lewis. Tim Keller is his Reason for God, the book Reason for God.
Who could we rip off?
It's mere Christianity.
Who could we rip off?
A little better, actually. We could rip off Stephen King. Wait a second. That's not.
Oh, that won't work. I'm down for it,
Who
though.
could we rip off? That was an old dead guy.
Tolkien.
Everyone's ripped off Tolkien.
Dang it, that's true.
Old dead guy.
We could rip off. If we
Jonathan Bunyan, actually. No, what's John Bunyan?
John Bunyan.
What's the guy
let's
who
do
wrote
the dude that did the Puritan pastor guy.
That's what I'm saying. Richard Baxter.
Richard Baxter.
We actually could rip off
Richard Baxter.
This is something we talk about all the time. So he has a book. He's an old dead guy too.
Yeah.
Called the Reformed Pastor, right?
Yes.
And it's not really about being reformed.
No.
It's about what pastoral ministry is about.
How to disciple your people.
Yeah.
And how to do. Yeah.
And he talks about visiting people all the time.
Steal it.
But we already do this. We already talk about this.
We gotta write it down.
Like Brad was talking. We were talking the other day, and he was like, "Man, preaching is just such like a small part of the ministry. It's important, but
when you say that though, it's like when Alderaan blew up. I hear the voice of 10 million pastors cry out at once and then they're silenced. But all of them are under 32 years old.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they think John MacArthur, I'm going to get stoned today.
We're gonna have
they
John
think
MacArthur.
John MacArthur sitting in his office 40 hours a week pecking out a sermon is the way to do it. They don't know he's got like 97 people on his staff doing the pastoral ministry. They probably keep him away from people at this point because he's in like grumpy old man mode. He's like, just do better. Yeah. I'm sorry if you don't do that, John. Yeah, I'm just joking, buddy.
The job is visiting people.
It is. It's loving people,
Loving people. It's being their friend.
Now, you need to have the word like stored down in your heart,
you
bud,
do. Yeah.
in your bones and stuff, and preach the word. We're not denigrating that, but like if you want to make hay, you got to love people. Go where they are.
It just, there's the old adage.
Sometimes you have to tell them to stop doing stupid stuff.
Yeah,
like, what are you doing, man?
Sometimes we got to hear that too.
I know it. You need to tell me something? You look at me like.
Well, I've been waiting for the opportunity.
Now's the time in front of God and everybody.
No, I'm not going to say that. I got nothing to say.
Oh.
You're the perfectest pastor I've ever did see.
Don't make me cry in front of all these people.
Oh, shucks.
Please stop.
Stop. More, please. You got to... The old adage is no one cares what you have to say until they know that you care.
Yeah.
That's just real talk, man.
It is. It's so cliche, but it's so true.
It's so true. There's just
some of the greatest pastors I've ever known. No joke. I'm not just saying this. We're not great preachers.
Yeah, that's true.
But their people love them so much.
Yeah,
and
because he loved them so much.
Yes. Yep. I am learning how to like people more slowly than some of my contemporaries.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good speaker.
I think you're really good at it too, though. I don't think I think that's. We have this pastoral scale system that we use sometimes.
Yeah, we do.
There's
the pastoral triage.
Yeah, there's 3 pastoral skills like that people that are important.
It's true.
You have preaching, people, and administration, right?
Yes, that's right. That's the triangle, the 3-legged stool upon which all ministry sits.
Yeah.
And nobody gets full stats in all 3.
You can't. You have to choose your stat. Yeah, well, you don't get to choose your stats, but they're usually balanced, or you're leaning heavily on one area.
Yes,
and stuff.
yeah.
And so Brad is like a 10 out of 10 in preaching.
Oh, baby.
I think you're a 10.
Y'all should go listen to one. See if he's
I think you're a 10 out of 10 in people too.
Ooh, but I'm
except to the people that you've made mad.
Yes.
But he is an absolute 1.
1
to the admin.
Maybe 2.
I'm
working on it.
You're a 1, man.
I'm such a 1.
I love you, and I can tell you you're a 1.
I'm a 1.
But it's okay.
I'm number 1.
You gotta know who you are.
That's
right.
That's what you're here for, because you're a 3.
I For real, like,
but comparatively, people think you're a genius.
Some people think I'm really like administrative minded, organized.
Yeah,
actually, I'm not,
dude. You're
just so bad.
But you know what, though? Let me tell you what. Let me tell you while I'm here. Jesus just floated through life, man.
That's true. We don't get any verses about his administration.
Nobody's
organization.
like, man, how did you have this thing organized? I mean, he had 12 dudes. One of them left him.
Yeah.
And he knew he was going to.
Yeah.
I mean, what did when you read the New Testament and the Gospels, you think, man, Jesus got to keep his schedule here.
Yeah,
I mean, he can't go anywhere.
Yeah,
People are interrupting him all the time. Everywhere he goes, he can't get a nap. He can't go. He's going to one person's house, to Jairus' house, and the woman with the issue of blood stops him. Everywhere he's going, it's like somebody's hitting him up.
All right, you got to grade me now. I graded you.
It's all the same. I grade you the same, except your administration's higher.
I'm not quite the preacher you are. I got like I don't have the gift of the gab. Oh. I have to plan what I say.
I felt like Sunday was not great though.
That you did?
Yeah.
Really?
I don't know.
I thought it was good.
Okay, well, never mind.
Yeah. Well, hey, I preached 2 weeks ago, and I thought, man, this one sucked. This is bad.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I got the truth out there, but that was about all that happened.
Yeah.
And I got home, and Steph was like, that's the best sermon you've ever preached. And I got a text from Austin. He said the same thing. Shout out to Austin.
Yeah.
And stuff. Yeah. It was like,
so weird.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I didn't.
Well, it's okay because we should talk about it. I'm going to actually talk about sermons in this very passage. So
yeah, we are.
Should we talk about manna now or
go? So we're tracking through Exodus. They've just been let loose from Egypt. They're on the way to the promised land. Right?
Pharaoh's gone
to Sinai, Mount Sinai, Mount Horeb / Mount Sinai, where Moses first met with Yahweh with the burning bush. They're going back there, right? Moses is going to take them to the burning bush, and so that they can meet with Yahweh.
Yeah, and that was the sign he said. You're going to come back here in this place.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And so they're on their way, and this is like Exodus chapter 15, 16. They get loose, and they get thirsty because they're out in the wilderness.
They get hungry and thirsty. They get thirsty then hungry.
Yeah,
that's the order of operations.
Yeah, yeah. And as it is in real life, you know, you can only go like 3 days without drinking.
Yeah, you can go like 30 without eating.
You can go a long time. Like I could unfortunately go probably longer than that. You know,
you can go a good amount of time. It's like 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water, 30 days without food.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
3 seconds without a heartbeat, maybe.
So it says in verse 22, Moses led Israel on from the Red Sea, which got split. You know, they went out to the wilderness of Shur. Oops, I'm playing with this.
It's okay. You got a fidget spinner.
I got a fidgety thing here. They journeyed for 3 days in the wilderness without finding water. There's our problem area, right?
No water.
3 days. They came to Mara.
What are we going to do?
Mara. Oh, they came to Mara. But they could not drink the water at Mara because it was bitter.
Mara means bitter.
It does. Same name Naomi names herself after the death.
Naomi meant sweetness or sweet. Yeah, and she named herself Mara.
Yeah.
But they were like, no, we're going to call you Naomi. Stop being stupid. Because they called her Naomi the rest of the book.
They do.
Like, call me Mara for things I'm going to bitter. Shut up, Naomi.
You don't get to change your name.
This is
only God changes names.
This is like 1500 BC. It's crappy for everybody.
Yeah. All right. The people grumbled to Moses, what are we going to drink? So he cried out to the Lord, and the Lord showed him a tree. When he threw it into the water became drinkable.
It was a cinnamon tree.
Was it?
Made that up. Don't have a clue.
Have you ever seen how they make cinnamon?
No.
It's bark. It's literally not like that bark. No, it's like tree bark off these cinnamon trees.
I've seen it in its pure form.
Yeah, they shave the bark off and they roll it up.
Yeah.
It rolls up naturally and dries out, and then you grind it.
Grind it into powder, and then you try to eat a spoonful at once.
Oh, that's a bad idea.
Have you seen people try it?
Yeah, you put it on delicious things like
but not much. It does not take much.
No, I love cinnamon.
Once upon a time long ago, I was in the land of India, where allspice comes from. And I was on an airplane. It was the scariest airplane takeoff I've ever been in my life. What?
Allspice?
Yeah, the spice must flow. No, I said the spice trade came from India at first. Okay. So a lot of the candy and stuff we have is made from fake spice.
There's a space called allspice.
Oh, okay.
There's a spice called allspice.
There's a spice called Old Spice. Yeah. So anyway, there I was on this plane, and I almost died on that plane. and they gave us a little packet, and it had spices in it, like original, like real licorice, not fake licorice, and other little seeds and stuff. And it was the most explosive thing I've ever put in my mouth as far as flavor. It was like, pow. I was like, wow. Unfortunately, in that plane in India, I'm not sure they have the FDA or what, because there was a 100-passenger plane. There was 275 people on it, and they all had 93 bags. And dude, we hit the point of no return, and our plane had not taken off yet, and it was struggling. And I was like, "This is it, baby. This is the end. I'm going to die on a plane." But these spices are delicious.
Yeah.
I did not die in a fiery inferno. God did let it lift off, and I made it.
My favorite breakfast right now.
Oh, I can't do that. I almost made an Indian impression.
No,
I feel like you can't do that stuff anymore.
My favorite breakfast right now has a lot of cinnamon in it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
No. It's like Greek yogurt. No, I'm a grown man. I don't eat Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
I eat Cinnamon Toast
Unless
Crunch.
it's dessert.
Sometimes when nobody's looking, I get a Cinnamon Toast
I chop an apple up into the yogurt and sprinkle cinnamon all over it. Oh, it's so good, man.
I would rather eat curdled milk than yogurt.
You don't like yogurt? I eat yogurt every day.
I think yogurt is curdled milk.
It is actually.
There you go.
You can't just curdle milk though. You have to do something with it. It's got bacteria cultured up and stuff.
I'm just not people are like, "Oh, eat this Yoplait." I'm like, "This is sugar."
I don't do that.
When you get the real yogurt, it's like
it tastes like sour cream.
It's
like plain yogurt is a sour cream substitute. I use it on tacos, but I use I get artificially sweetened yogurt and stuff because I don't want all the sugar. It's good, man. It's really good.
Yeah, I might take your word for it.
Ton of protein.
Just
ton of protein.
There's a small child in me that still can't eat it. I don't know. There's some things.
I'll make you a yogurt bowl and you're like, oh my gosh, man, this is so good.
I hope that happens.
Yeah.
I hope I don't look at you and go, dude, I'm wasting all your blueberries. This is awful.
No, I'm telling you, I'll make you some. I'm gonna make you some. I'm gonna bring it tomorrow.
My wife cannot eat eggs.
What?
I know. She doesn't like yolks.
I eat probably 6 eggs a day.
I love
average
eggs
through the week.
I ate 3 this morning.
Yeah.
I scrambled 3 eggs and put them on a tortilla with some salt.
I just want.
And then I ate a banana.
Like 6 eggs for breakfast. That's my other go-to breakfast. I just scramble up 6 eggs.
I love eggs.
Me too, man. Scrambled eggs. Oh, like I'll put if I got like a big workout day, I'll put a little butter in it too.
I do too.
Yeah.
I put a little slide of butter in there so it is mix up easier in the pan.
Salt and stuff.
Oh
man.
My goodness. Some people go eat some eggs.
I'll eat some eggs tonight.
Hey, you didn't ask me a question yet.
I did.
What was it?
Would you rather?
Oh, that's
that
right.
was a long time ago,
Golly, we should probably do
We're 15, 17 minutes into the podcast.
I remember now. I decided to get rid of the
We were talking
internet.
about water that I don't know how we got
Dude,
on cinnamon.
I am a goldfish.
I
am a goldfish in a bowl that forgets his
squirrel.
It's like, what's that castle down there?
Right,
what's that castle down there?
Let's get back to Exodus. Yeah.
Oh
man. So Moses throws the tree into the. Oh yeah, you said the tree was cinnamon. That's how we got on all that. That's ridiculous. All right. So the Lord made a statute, an ordinance for them at Marah, and He tested them there. He said, "If you will carefully obey the Lord your God." So this is the first promise made to all of Israel.
Yeah.
Right. All together here. If you will carefully obey the Lord your God, do what is right in His sight, pay attention to His commands, and keep all His statutes. What's He going to say? I will not inflict any illnesses on you that I inflicted on the Egyptians.
Yep.
For I'm the Lord who heals
He'll be
you.
your healer.
He will. If you do these things, what happened to the Egyptians won't happen to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not what we're going to get promise-wise.
No.
But it's something. Okay.
Yep. By the end of it, they have chosen poorly.
Poorly. Name that reference.
Indiana Jones' Last Crusade.
Yeah. And so after that, the entire Israelite community departed and came to the wilderness of Sin. Is it Sin or Sin?
I think it's sin, but it's not sin like sin.
Like English sin.
Yeah.
Which is between Elim and Sinai, which is where they're heading, right? The entire Israelite community grumbled against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness. The Israelites said to them, "If only we had died by the Lord's hand in the land of Egypt, when we sat by pots of meat and ate all the bread we wanted. Instead, you brought us into this wilderness to make this whole assembly die of hunger."
Oh, I feel this so deeply as a father.
Yeah, yeah. Tell me about that.
You know, you take your kids to Disney World.
Yeah, yeah.
You spend $5 bajillion, and it is like walking around on the surface of Mercury out there because it's 6,000 degrees. Your kids are sweating. They're mad. And they're like, why did you take us to this awful place where all we do is stand in line?
Oh, man.
Shut up and enjoy Mickey Mouse.
Just enjoy it. We're going to Disney World in
I can't wait for
February
you to have a miserable
and March,
time.
though. We're going in February, March.
Okay.
Yeah, the Make-A-Wish stuff. They're sending Archer to Disney
Oh,
World.
baby.
Yeah, for
You're
real.
going to go to the front of the line.
Yeah, they go in the front of the line. It's like this, they have this resort there for Make-A-Wish kids, and you get tickets to Disney, Universal, wherever you want to go down there, SeaWorld. And
Universal's great. It's my favorite. Harry Potter?
Yeah, yeah.
Number one.
So Archer's going to get to go to Disney and Universal.
Oh,
and
it's
stuff.
going to be a different experience because you don't have to stand in line with the
lines.
What do you call it? The peasants.
Yeah, the peasants.
With me with the peasants.
And it'll
in
be
the
nice
line.
out. It's supposed to be in the low 70s. Yeah.
This is glorious.
Yeah.
That's sort of like the time I won some tickets to a University of Alabama game and never taken my kids before, and somehow I got these tickets in the rich people box.
Oh, yeah?
And like we had catered chef food.
Oh, man.
All the drinks you could get.
Yeah.
And then you walked out and you sat in this gated off balcony. To get to the club, you had to show your ticket to the dude running the elevator, and he unlocked it with a key. Like, it was so nice. And my kids thought that's what games were supposed to be like.
Oh,
and so,
man.
like, after that, we're doomed. We were such rednecks, though. There were so many, like, people in there who had money and, like, houndstooth dresses so fancy, dolled up. And in there, they served in cups you couldn't get anywhere else. And it, like, had football players catching balls and stuff. And you would, like, turn it, and it would look like they were throwing and catching. And the people were throwing them away. Throwing them away because they're so rich. And I went in the garbage can and got like 17 of these cups from my friends. I was like, put this under my shirt and let's get out of here before they think we don't belong.
That's so funny.
Like when they would be like, go to the buffet, and the dude was like, you want roast beef? And I was like, why, yes, of course I will have the roast beef.
Stick my pinky out.
I'd love to have some of your roast beef. Yeah. Is this not prime rib? I don't know what to say. Are these quail eggs?
I really would only want to go to one of those games if I was in one of those boxes.
I can't go back.
Because
the next time I went, I got in a fight.
Well, with sitting in the stands is way worse than sitting on your couch.
Dude, I was in the stands. I don't know if I should tell this story.
Maybe you should.
Let's tell it.
Yeah,
so I'm sitting in the stands, we're trying to watch a football game. We can barely breathe. We had to bring oxygen. We were so high up because I couldn't afford anything else. My kids are cranky.
Yeah.
And there's 3 or 4 people behind us who are inebriated. Do you know what inebriated means? Yeah.
They drunk.
They are drunk. So drunk.
Skunks.
And I'm sitting there and I'm like, this is not good. Because the game hadn't even started yet. And they're already south.
Oh, man. They came with some pregame.
They came with pregame. And this one girl's head is like between her knees. She's like, ugh. And I'm like, she's drunk, man. And I hear, dude, she threw up behind us, splattered puke everywhere. Everywhere. Yes. And they sat
decisions.
There. They sat there, and I said, hey, bud, y'all got to go. Y'all got to get out of here.
Yeah.
Because they also had a little bit of an unclean mouth. They were unclean people with unclean lips.
Oh, Isaiah.
I said, buddy, you got to go.
Yeah.
He said, we're not leaving. I said, oh, you're leaving. I promise you're leaving. You can go right now or I'm going to get security, and you're leaving.
Yeah.
So then I thought he might bow up. But he thought better of it because I would have whooped his butt because he was drunk.
Yeah, yeah.
And
drunk people are easy to beat up.
So easy to beat up.
Yeah.
If you want to make a name for yourself, just whoop drunk people. Yeah. Also, I'm bigger, stronger, faster, better. Yeah. And so if he had not been drunk, I could have whooped this kid. I could tell he had one of them haircuts that just said he's never been punched in the mouth before.
Oh, yeah, one punch.
And so he left. And he took his girlfriends with him or whatever. I was like, yeah. But the puke remained.
Yeah. So somehow we got to get back to the manna.
I don't know, man.
Okay.
I just thought I'd tell you that story.
So
he had the high ground, though. I was like Anakin Skywalker. He was one step above me. He was like, it's over. I have the high ground. I was like, hey. You know, one time Obi-Wan had the low ground. And Darth Maul had a surprise. You're fixing to get a surprise.
Yep.
I'm going to throw you to the low ground.
Yeah.
It's going to be painful. Anyway,
I'm
getting fired up about it.
You
that
are.
was like 10 years ago. I still want to whoop that guy.
So they start grumbling.
Too.
They start grumbling, Brad. Stay on top.
He's probably okay guy now. Everybody does dumb stuff.
What if he's one of our listeners?
I'm sorry that you did that and needed a butt whooping. And I'm over it. I'm over it.
Clearly.
Yeah.
So they want to go back to Egypt because they're hungry. And you know what the Lord does? He's so nice.
He feeds them.
He says, I'm going to rain bread from heaven for you. The people are to go out each day.
Heaven.
Is that a song?
It is now.
Okay.
I feel singy today.
And you go out each day and gather enough for that day. This way I will test them to see whether or not they will follow my instructions. So it's a test.
Yes. And
involved
guess what? Every single time they get tested, you have failed.
Yeah, someone fails every time.
They fail every stinking time.
Not all of them fail on this one.
No, but some of them
Some of them do, yeah.
Yeah, and manna, by the way, dear listener, means what is this?
Yeah, isn't that funny?
Yeah, what is this?
And that's like the most... If someone has a question about manna, that's their question too. Like, what is manna? What was it like?
Well, that's exactly why they called it that.
They
don't know. It was like tasted like coriander seed or something.
Yeah, but honey also.
And honey. It was delish.
It sounds like baklava.
Yeah, they got. It sounds like balaclava.
I love baklava. Oh my gosh, I love it. It's my favorite dessert, actually.
That is weird.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
That is my favorite?
Yes.
Why?
Like, you're like, baklava or cheesecake? And you're like, baklava.
Baklava.
You are insane.
And
you're
I
like
want
a kid
baklava cheesecake.
You know what the most disappointing dessert of all time is?
What?
Turkish delight.
Oh, yeah, that is disappointing.
Dude, I read about that in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
It sounds so
and
good.
What's his name?
Edmund.
Edmund eats the Turkish delight.
Yeah.
And I'm a kid. I'm thinking, boy, one day, if it's good enough to trap your soul, this must be freaking delicious. So I grew up one day, went somewhere, like, I'll have the Turkish delight. And I was like, Edmund sold his soul for this crap?
It's not good.
It's so not good.
Yeah.
Anyway, cheesecake is better than baklava.
Cheesecake is
baklava.
Oh, I love it. Golly, I love it. Chris Todd brought you some baklava, and I ate almost all of it.
I know. Yeah. That's fine. Yeah. That's fine. If he brings a cheesecake, I'm eating it.
Yeah, that's right.
We love you, Chris Todd.
Yeah, he's in Lebanon, and they have good baklava, man.
Yeah, he's not in Lebanon right now.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah.
Not a good show over there.
Manna sounds like baklava to me. Honey, bread kind of thing.
Yeah, it was, and it was, what is it? And it was good for one day.
Yeah.
Don't get, and he said, get one omer. That was it.
What's an omer?
Omer goodness.
Oh my goodness, this is good.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said that.
And so the sixth day, you're supposed to get enough for 2 days. You're supposed to gather enough for the Sabbath.
So you don't get on Sabbath.
Yep.
And what'd they do the first day?
A lot of them.
Got more than they were told.
Yep, and it turned into worms and stuff, right?
Worms. It turned into worms. And they... Ew. It's like that guy. Hey, this is what happens. You go out there, and it's like, God told us just get enough for one day, right? So you go out there, and you get enough for a day, and you look, and what's your neighbor doing? He got his kids out there, and they're like picking up a crap ton. Yeah. And it's like, what are you doing? God said to get it one day. He's like, oh, I heard Sybil over there said that if we didn't get it, there wasn't going to be no more.
Yeah.
But is that what you heard? Yeah. Oh, I better get me some more too then.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, you got all this stanky stuff.
Yep.
And my goodness. That's what happened.
Yep. And then God also sent quail. He said, this evening you will know that it is the Lord who brought you out of the land of Egypt. And in the morning you will see the Lord's glory, because he has heard your complaints about him.
Yeah.
For who are we that you complain about us? Moses continued, the Lord will give you meat to eat this evening, and all the bread you want in the morning, for he's heard the complaints. And so there's these quail that come out.
Yeah.
And when the dew evaporates, there's manna. In the evening, quail cover the camp, and they eat them.
Yeah. They got quail. They got manna. I tell people when we're talking about sermons that, you can, manna is one day at a time.
Yep.
Sermons are just like that.
Yeah. Sunday morning church is like that. The whole thing.
It's not, I've preached, I don't know, for thousands.
All right, you got 50 weeks in a year. You don't preach that much. I don't know, 40.
I used to preach 2-3 times a week.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know.
1,000? About 1,000 sermons probably.
Probably, and listen to, I don't know how many, 1,000?
Yeah.
Thousands? I don't remember 2 of them.
Yeah.
But they must have been helpful along the way because, look, here I am.
Yeah.
And some of it stuck. I don't know where it came from, right?
Yeah.
So you don't, if you go to church thinking every Sunday morning sermon is just going to be this lifelong, impactful message, it might be, but probably not. Maybe just get you to next week till you can hear another one. That's what I tell people on the way out. They say, "Oh, I appreciate that sermon." I'm going to try again next week.
Yeah.
I'm going to try another one next week. We're gonna do this all over again. We're going to sing more songs.
Yeah.
Do you remember? I don't remember what we sang Sunday. If you started humming a few, I'd remember it.
Yeah.
But like 3 weeks ago, forget about it. Forget about it. Never happening.
Forget about it.
It's manna from heaven, man.
Yeah.
Every Sunday, you got to go in there and get your manna from heaven, hear a word from your preacher, shake somebody's hand, laugh in your Sunday school class, get a Sunday school lessons, have some kid kick you in the shin, whatever's happening.
Yeah.
And it'll get you through the week, and you just do that 1 week at a time, baby.
It's not like it's not impactful. It's formative. Doing it every week, it forms you over time.
Yeah, which
you learn. But you don't learn in the way like, oh, I remember on September the 14th, 1998, when I heard this sermon, and this is what I learned from it.
Oh, yeah. Well,
you just know, you begin to know the word of the Lord from
manna.
all that. Yeah.
It's like C.S. Lewis said, you got to read a bunch of books to get to a good sentence.
Yeah.
That change your life.
Yeah.
And it's just like going to the gym. You know, we didn't get this studly overnight. Me and you. Oh, stop.
If you're watching, I'm flexing.
So
You're being
anyway,
careful.
we did.
Look at those
I almost
pecs.
broke my shirt. Yeah. So we don't. Which one of my gym sessions helped me? It's just a little bit.
It's all a little bit at a time, and the same thing goes for like songs and prayers that we do.
You gotta stay connected to the vine, baby.
Yeah, that's right. Now you do remember more of that, which is funny.
Yeah,
like
you do.
Songs are earworms, and they get stuck in your head. So you better be careful what you're singing then, if that's true.
Right.
Like, because it's gonna stick with you.
That's right.
In a different way. It's very powerful.
Yeah, you don't want to get stuck with, if you can't be with the one you love, honey, love the one you're with. You don't want that stuck in your head as your mantra. It leads to bad
Christ
things.
alone, my hope
That's
is found.
more better. Yeah, man.
There's theology in those
you
things.
Actually forget stuff, but you don't also forget it because sometimes it comes back. It's like teaching kids. You're like, every single one of these kids is a nutcase. They're rolling on the floor. They're not hearing a darn thing I said.
Yeah.
And like 3 weeks later, one of them little kids will just like say your lesson back to you. And it's like, what?
Oh my, yeah. Evie does that sometimes. Like she'll be like, she's 6 and she's goofy as all get out. She's the most goofy, silly girl in the world. And sometimes like she'll say something, I'll ask a question in New Covenant Kids. We're doing the catechism, and she'll just be like, well, that's because Jesus died on the cross and 3 days later rose again from the dead and is seated at the right hand of God, the Father. And I was like, where did that come from? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but then the next minute you'll be like, and what does Jesus want us to do? And she'll go, 8 jelly beans.
Yes, exactly. That's so true. That is
just don't know what
that is her. Yeah, in a heartbeat.
Yeah, that's how all the kids are. I'm just glad when they quit punching me.
Yeah.
Was that a football game?
You're not glad when they quit punching me. You love it, man.
I do. I will whoop somebody's little kid if they're not looking. I'll get them. Not whoop them like spanking, but like, come here, boy. I got something for you. Hold them upside down.
Yeah.
I love that stuff, man.
You got big pawpaw vibes.
I had a kid the other day at the football game yell out of the booth to my wife in front of the entire stadium. Why did you marry such an old man, Miss Amy?
That was so funny.
That was the best thing ever. And you know what I told her? I told her the truth.
Yeah.
I said, Allie, anytime you see an old man with a woman that's still young and pretty, it's money, dear. It's always money. That's your answer. She's like, oh, she treasured that up in her heart, I'm sure.
All right. So they gather it every morning, right?
Yeah, and twice on
Saturday. Yeah, Fridays. Yeah, Fridays. That's right. And some people don't, right? Some people do it, they're bad and they take extra and it's a problem. And then they go on, the Israelites ate manna for 40 years until they came to an inhabited land. So it's kind of looking forward into it, right?
Tells you about people though, because the first time he drops it, he's like, hey, just get enough for one day. And so they like pack up way too much and it rots.
Yeah.
And then he's like, gather up twice as much on Friday because on the Sabbath there won't be any. Yep. And guess what they do? they don't get enough.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't tell you anything.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's Monty Python out here with people.
Yeah, for real.
It's how life is. It's not a joke. Like, it seems funny, but it's not. It's not funny because we do this stuff.
We do the same thing.
All the time.
Like, I mean, how many times have you been told that, falsehood is wrong, right?
What?
Yeah, like being like lies.
What?
You've never been told that? Yeah,
Never. Yeah.
And yet, like, the reality is like, yeah, you've still lied. Like, you lie sometimes.
I lie
like,
to myself.
You lie to yourself. You like get some half truths in there because you just don't want to deal with stuff right at the time.
Oh man,
you're lazy or something.
Exaggerate your stories.
Yeah, and it's like these things, and so sometimes you look back in the story of Israel, and like, man, what a bunch of idiots! I can't stand these people. It's like, it's you, pal. It's me.
I wrote this down for you.
Yeah,
bud.
like I've literally preached. Yeah, pride is going to kill you. You can't be prideful. Only to find myself that next week, like, eat up with pride. I'm
Dude,
like,
you're
oh
up there
gosh,
preaching
what
about
the heck?
don't be prideful, and you're so proud of your sermon.
Yeah, I know it. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Ridiculous, man. We are so ridiculous.
This is the same thing.
Same thing.
And God's so merciful because He doesn't just kill them all, and He could.
My picture of the Lord is Him face palming all the time.
Yeah, and they think He's brought because they're just. We are all turds. Like, they think, listen to this. They say again, why did you ever bring us up from Egypt to kill us and our children and our livestock with thirst, right? Because they get thirsty again. And it's like, that's the go-to. That's not just their go-to when trial happens, when hard things are, like, that still happens today when people go through suffering of any variety. Like, you gave me this wonderful gift just to take it away, just to be mean to me. God's just being mean to me, right? When people have loss and everything. Yeah. And so this is a consistent story. It's all very consistent. So,
yep, we're consistently wretched.
Yep. And so Moses gets water from a rock this time.
Amy's calling me. You want to get her on the podcast?
Yeah, let's get Amy on the podcast.
I'm going to tell her I'm on the podcast.
Okay.
I'm not going to make her do it. She's coming home from work.
Put her on the mic.
Podcast. I will never do it to her. She would kill me.
Are you answering her?
No, I'm just.
You're just texting her back. Oh, you should have answered it. That'd be so fun.
Oh man, it'd be like a special guest star.
It would. We can actually bring people in through this little device through the phone. Yeah.
It's magic.
And they can talk to us.
Oh man,
yeah.
Who would want to be on this podcast?
We need to invite some people. That'd be fun.
We got to get the right ones.
Yeah, we got to call people in while they're at work.
Yes.
And be like, hey, what you doing, pal?
They'll be like, dude, I'm trying to work.
Yeah,
here.
tell me what do you think about the Exodus story? Yeah. That'd be fun.
He said, I'm gonna Exodus this conversation.
Yeah.
Oh, they get in a fight too.
Yeah. There's a fight with the Amalekites, and Jethro shows up. Who's Jethro? What?
That's like one of my. It's like a dude from Sand Mountain being named Jethro.
It reminds me of the Beverly Hillbillies.
Yes,
because that's the name.
Yeah,
of the guy,
it's
Jethro.
a Jethro.
Some reason it's become like a deep South, like redneck
I know.
name.
It's
hillbilly name.
It's because we were the only people of Jesus for so long.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
we named our people Bible names.
Yeah,
and so it became that. And Jethro is Moses' father-in-law, aka Reuel, aka what was the other name he had? He's had a couple.
I think that was it. Priest of Midian. Yep.
Yeah. So he comes down. He helps him administrate. He was a non-administrator.
Yeah, he was a non-administrator.
He's like, what are you doing, man? You're working yourself to death,
yeah.
bud. You got to get people to help you.
Delegation.
That's what I'm good at delegating. It's
kind of an interesting story. Like you wonder, sometimes I wonder, like, why like did the Lord preserve this, put it in His Word? Like, why this story, Yeah. I wonder that sometimes. This is one of those. But I think it's like to show that Jethro is like, whatever it means that he's like a priest of Midian, because that's all it says. He is on God's side. He's with Yahweh. Because he says, like, bless the Lord, who rescued you from the power of Egypt and from the power of Pharaoh. He has rescued the people from under the power of Egypt. Now I know that the Lord is greater than all gods, because He did wonders when the Egyptians acted arrogantly against Israel. And so He brought a burnt offering and sacrifices to God after that, right? So I think it's like to show Jethro is with Yahweh. Mm-hmm. I don't know what kind of priest he was before this, but now he's going to be with Yahweh and with Moses. And so they do this delegation. He gets all these other judges, to help him out and stuff.
And Jethro was not Jewish.
He was not Jewish. He's a Midianite.
I know. Priest to God.
He's from Africa. He's he's a black guy.
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know what Midianites were, but let's go with it.
That's the
all
word
over
on the street.
Africa. There's a lot of different skin tones.
Yeah, that's true.
And there always have been.
Yeah, Africa.
Berbers over there.
Egyptians don't look the same as
there were some Egyptians that were and some that weren't.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Nubians.
Yeah.
Dark people.
Yep.
I don't know about the northern Egyptians.
I don't know either.
Augustine of Hippo.
Yeah, he was from northern Egypt or northern Africa. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What was a hippo? Yeah, hippo's on the coast.
Yeah. Especially after the Roman influx. So there's a lot of northern parts that was.
Anyways, European. We get to the biggest, probably the biggest moment so far since they leave. And one of the biggest moments in the Bible is a hinge point. This is a covenant moment, and it's Exodus 19. Mm-hmm. Right when Israel gets to the mountain, Mount Sinai.
Yeah.
Do you think we should get into this? We've gone for 40 minutes.
What?
Should we wait?
Yeah. No, we got to do it. We can do this in 10 minutes.
All right. Okay. So they get to Mount Sinai. They're here to meet God. Moses goes up to the mountain to God, and the Lord called to him from the mountain. This is what you must say to the house of Jacob and explain to the Israelites. You have seen what I did to the Egyptians and how I carried you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself. Now, here's the covenant. If you will carefully listen to me and keep my covenant, you will be my own possession out of all the peoples, although the whole earth is mine, and you will be my kingdom of priests and my holy nation. These are the words that you are to say to the Israelites.
Yeah, we'll set that up. So they get to the mountain, though, and it's like, don't go on it, buddy.
Yeah, don't touch it. Well, they haven't heard that yet.
Yeah, but they're fixing to.
They're about to hear that, yeah. And Moses comes down and he tells them, he summoned the elders of the people. He set them all before them, all these words that the Lord commanded him. And all the people respond together. We will do all that the Lord has spoken.
Yeah, they did.
Wow,
say
how
that.
Optimistic, man.
They were very optimistic.
Yeah, they're.
The fun thing is too, it in the first of the Exodus and throughout the Bible up to this point, we sort of lose this a little bit. It seems that the patriarch of every family was supposed to be a priest and intercessor for his family.
Yeah,
that's how it's always been.
Okay,
and then we get the Levitical law. Mm-hmm. But that's not till later when Israel keeps sinning.
Yeah, after.
He consolidates the priesthood. It's a lot like when Israel gets a king.
Yeah.
That was not a great move, actually.
Yeah.
And so the consolidation of the Levitical priesthood comes after sin. Yep. It's not the original plan. Even like altars and stuff, building the place for God. They're at one point they're allowed to make altars. Remember,
they make altars everywhere.
They make altars
everywhere he goes.
There were some rules. Don't cut the stone. You're basically stacking natural block to make your altar. And so it seems that before the big sin happened, that the man of the family would make an altar for his family and make intercession and sacrifice for them. And that each dad or granddad or whatever would be doing that for his family.
Yeah.
And that stops. And they're not allowed to make altars anymore.
Yeah.
And everybody has to go up to Jerusalem. He has to centralize the thing because the dipsticks can't obey.
Yeah.
Which is me.
Yeah, we are the dipsticks. Yeah.
That should have been our band name.
The Dipsticks. Oh, man.
You know what's funny is dipstick means like idiot, kind of.
Yeah.
But like it is an essential tool to check whether or not you're in trouble.
It's true.
It would be good to be a dipstick.
It's what you check your oil with.
Or transmission fluid or anything.
Yeah, lots of them.
Yeah, a dipstick it's essential.
It is. You are essential.
Why
dipstick.
did it become a thing that means you're a dummy?
I wonder why. Yeah, that's a funny thing. So
there is a gnat in this room.
I know it keeps on flying around.
Only when we start the podcast,
yeah.
He comes over and wants to fly up my nose. He is a jerk gnat.
Yeah, and so let's talk about a little bit what's happening here. This is a kind of a scary moment. There's thunder, lightning. On the third day when the morning came, there's thunder, lightning, a thick cloud on the mountain, very loud blast from a trumpet. So all the people in the camp shuddered, and Moses brought the people out of the camp to meet God, and they stood at the foot of the mountain. Mm-hmm. Mount Sinai was completely enveloped in smoke because the Lord came down on it in fire, as he does. His smoke went up like the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mountain shook violently. And so this is when Moses is kind of presenting, the people to God in, the law, right? And something that I think is important is like this phrase back up in verse 6, "You'll be my kingdom of priests and my holy nation." Mm-hmm. My own possession out of all the peoples, kingdom of priests and my holy nation. And so you have that kingdom of priests idea right there. That the whole people of Israel is supposed to be like this priestly representation for the nations, right? And what do priests do? They like represent God to the people, and they represent the people's needs to God. They're like intermediaries. You know? And that's what Israel's supposed to be for the rest of the nations. The holy nation, the set apart nation for His purposes. And that's a high calling. And that gets brought back up. Are they that? No, they are horrible at doing that. They're not that. Even though they're supposed to be. You get the priests get delegated to just the Levites. But in the New Testament, after Jesus, the church is called this.
Yes.
In 1 Peter, right? Or 2 Peter.
Even in Revelation.
Yep. There will be priests.
You've sacrificed yourself and made from us from every tongue and tribe and nation a kingdom of priests.
Yep. And so this ends up being the church, essentially. Jesus is still going to have this. He's still going to have a people for His own possession, a kingdom of priests and a holy nation.
The law continues to restrict.
Yeah.
Every single time they sin, there's more laws.
Yeah.
And so the purpose of the law was to keep them sort of in handcuffs until the Messiah could come set them free, till the covenant could be on the inside.
Yeah.
And once that happened, we become priests again.
Yeah.
Everybody, men and women.
Yeah. And so there's this relationship in the New Testament that you get between what is is like what's happening to Israel, what's going to happen with Israel. And there's a sense in which that the church is what God is doing right now. He's not doing the nation Israel. He's doing the church. And Israel is like the true Israel is part of the church.
Yes.
And you get that because of such explicit language. Like this is something that's said specifically about God's people Israel, and later on it's the Gentiles too included.
Yeah, that's true.
And so like the church,
all the promises of God are yes and amen in Jesus Christ.
Yep.
So every single thing that God promises to Israel belongs to the church.
That's right. Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean, so people get really wrapped up about this stuff. Man, look, God is saving people from every tongue and tribe and nation right now all over the earth, and He doesn't love one over another.
Well, so that's the thing. That's what I want to get to is like, because a lot of people say that He loves Israel the most. Israel is still His chosen people, that He has a plan just for Israel. And what do you think about that?
I think they're wrong. I think they are His chosen people. I think the whole world is now His chosen people.
Yeah.
He has chosen them from every tongue and tribe and nation.
Yeah.
And so God is still working in Israel.
Yeah.
And when Paul talks about that in Romans 9, 10, 11, he's talking about the fact that God is still working with Israel and that He always will work with Israel. And right at the end, He'll be saving people in Israel, and thus all Israel will be saved.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that is also that is also the case for Australians.
Yeah, yeah.
He is going to save them. He has a plan for them. He's chosen them.
Even the Australians, mate?
Even the Australians, bud.
Yeah.
Throw another Christian in the kingdom, whatever. Except not a shrimp on the Barbie. It's a Christian in the kingdom. Yeah. Australians.
Australians make good music.
Yeah.
Shout out City of Light.
UK.
Yeah.
He's saving those guys too.
Yeah.
He's saving Africans. I like it. We said Africa earlier as if it's one unified thing. It's a massive continent.
It's the biggest. Well, I guess Asia's bigger, but
no, I think Africa's the most biggest.
Is it really? It is so big, man.
It's so big.
Have you ever used the map like that helps you compare sizes of countries? Yeah. You can like layer the U.S. over Africa
like 4 times.
It's like at least twice.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's so big.
So Yeah, he's saving folks in Zimbabwe. He's saving them in Tanzania. He's saving them in Uganda. And he's going to be doing that. He's never going to stop doing that. He will never stop saving them until the very end. They are his chosen people. They are beloved for the sake of his son.
Yeah.
And that is true for every single nation. The reason we have so much talk in the New Testament about Israel is not that they're still like some sort of God's secret favorite and the rest of us are stepchildren. Is God is going to keep his promise to Israel.
Which one?
All of them.
All of them, yeah.
Yes, just like he's going to keep his promise to England.
But he said that they would have like this land and stuff. What about that?
They are going to have it.
They are going to have
We're
it.
going to, though.
But we are also.
We are also.
Yeah, that's the difference.
We're going there. Yeah, we're going there. We're going to be in the
We're
new.
part of the promise. We're children of the promise, aren't we?
In Revelation, you read that and you stop trying to figure out when Jesus is coming back and just accept that he is and stuff.
Yeah.
What you'll find is that we're going to be in the heavenly Jerusalem.
That's right.
We're going there.
Yeah.
When Jesus said,
The
"In
New
my Father's,"
Jerusalem.
he didn't say, "In my Father's house there are many rooms that the Jews will go in, but the Gentiles we're going to make them an apartment complex in California. It's going to be nice."
Yeah.
But
It won't be
we're not
Israel.
going to. You're not going to be living in my Father's house. No, man.
Yeah.
We're going in there.
Yeah.
And Abraham's going to be like, "What's up, son?" I'm going to be like, "What's up, Daddy?" I'm
Now-
going to hug him. I'm going to hug Abraham.
In the new like heaven or New Jerusalem, are we talking about like Jerusalem's right there? Everyone lives in that city.
Well, this is apocalyptic, right?
So it's kind of
the thing is 1,000 miles, thousand miles. If you stuck it on,
It's a square. It's a cube.
It's a cube.
Yeah.
It's the Borg.
Yeah,
If you
it is.
stuck,
It's a Star Trek, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So if you stuck the New Jerusalem onto the USA,
Yeah.
one wall would go from like New York probably to Colorado, and then it would be equally that tall.
Yeah,
and
so
it'd sit
it'd
on
be
the
out in
world
space.
It would
Yeah.
sit on the world like a top hat,
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah. And so it's symbolism.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily saying that this is one city that we all live in.
But we're all going to be together.
Yeah, there's a togetherness to it in the presence of God in it, you know.
Jesus said that at the table there was going to be those from the north, south, east, and west, right?
Yeah.
We're going to be sitting at the table with who? He says Abraham and Isaac and Jacob.
Yeah.
And some Yohanan kid that got saved we don't know about. He's
All right,
going to
let
be
me
like,
ask another question about this. All right, so if it's true that God doesn't have a particular people over another, right, anymore.
Here's what God does, man.
What?
He's got a bunch of kids, and he tells them all that they're his favorite.
Yes, that's true, right? Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
and so that's true, right?
Yeah.
And so why is, just kind of to like ask a question about our culture here in the U.S. and like things that we have going on politically and stuff, there's like this impetus to support Israel.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean?
Yes.
You've seen this?
The nation.
Yeah, the nation.
City-state over there.
Yeah. And
Whatever.
to support, and they're a nation. Yeah.
Yeah,
They
they're
got
a
a
nation.
big, it's, yeah.
It's about the size of 7 counties.
Yeah, it's half of Alabama.
Yeah, maybe.
And there's this like impetus to support them, like we need to support them.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's got some religious overtones.
Sometimes?
Right? Yeah. Not always. Depends on who you ask.
Yeah. I think that there's right and wrong way.
Yeah.
If you're saying we need to support them because they're the only free democracy in the Middle East, that the Jewish people have a right to a homeland and a place to live because they're human beings and they've been there since forever, since this book was written in Exodus, and that they're our natural allies because they line up with us politically and understand freedom and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
If you say it's because they're God's special children. If you don't do this, God will be mad at you. That's stupid.
Yeah, that's because that's what I hear is like we need to bless Israel, so we'll be blessed. This is the promise to Abraham.
No.
Yeah.
I bless anybody to be blessed. I bless Palestinians.
Yeah.
I wish they would come to Jesus. I want to see
Some of them
people.
are.
I want to see. There are probably more Christians in Palestine than in Israel. Maybe.
Yeah.
There used to be before the purges, but. Jordan, I want to see Jordan come to Jesus. I want to see Saudi Arabia. I want to see Saudis love Jesus. I want to see Afghanis love Jesus just as fiercely as Israel.
Yeah.
And I don't care where that happens first.
Yeah.
Israel, as it is, if you don't love Jesus, you are under the wrath of God.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it is not, you're not getting special treatment. And the problem.
So if like a Jew dies without knowing Jesus.
Hell.
Yep. Wow.
Yes, just like a Muslim without Jesus.
Yep.
Just like a Baptist without Jesus.
Yeah.
There are Baptists who do not have Jesus.
Yeah, that's right.
And everybody will say nice things about him at their funeral, but they're going to hell.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, look, God could push Israel out tomorrow.
Yeah.
He did it before. Syria went in there and got him. Babylon went in there and got him.
Yeah.
Rome went in there and got him. You don't get any special plan protection if you're in rebellion against the one true and living God, and the one true and living God is made manifest through His Son Jesus Christ. And if you don't love Him, you're under His judgment already.
Yeah.
So, do I want Israel to be saved and prosper? Yes. Do I want their policies to go through the Middle East and we have some measure of freedom out there and people get to live their lives, not having to worry about getting stoned to death because they showed too much elbow? Oh, yeah, man. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Do I want to be able to drop gospel literature and fuss with people in the street without worry about dying? Absolutely, I do.
Yeah.
I want that in Israel, and I want it so bad everywhere.
Yeah.
Fuss with me.
Yeah.
Fuss with me.
No, I can't fuss with you guys.
No, I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying.
with
Like
them.
the air,
Yeah.
like the places where they would chop your head off. Like,
Yeah.
let's just go in here and get after it.
Yeah,
Let's say,
let's
I want to
talk.
tell you that there is a triune God, and that the only way to heaven is through Jesus Christ. And I want them to say, "You are so stupid. Muhammad is the Lord's prophet, and he's the one true prophet, and Allah is gonna be like, I don't believe you. I'm gonna draw pictures of Muhammad, and you're gonna be so mad at me, and you can tell me I'm stupid about Jesus, and we'll just be like, fuss, fuss, fuss. It's fine.
Some of them might get saved too.
Somebody would.
Yeah. So that's I think that's important because a lot of times there's been a lot of very influential study Bibles and stuff over the years, the Scofield Bible, that it kind of like percolated into our culture in a weird way that the thing, it's called dispensationalism, and the dispensationalists don't even believe that stuff anymore, that there's like a covenant with Israel still intact.
It's not your daddy's covenantalism.
But it's weird how much it's stuck around in the culture.
It's because God says that Israel's my chosen people.
Yeah.
So like brands in people's head.
Yeah.
Chosen for what?
Yeah.
Chosen for what? And the answer is
a kingdom of priests.
A kingdom of priests, and to bring to us Messiah.
Yeah.
Their entire purpose, all this stuff, everything that's going on, is to bring the one whose head who will crush Satan's head.
Yeah.
That's their goal, to bring people to God and to bring into the world Messiah. And they did that by God's grace. He will forever and ever, Jesus Christ, is a Jew.
Yeah.
To the end of the world and infinity, they always have that.
Yeah.
The prophets were Jews. Great is the blessing God has given to Israel.
Yeah,
I'm not belittling it, but that was the purpose.
Yeah.
And if they miss that, they're not Israel.
Yeah.
That's what Paul says, the Jew.
Yeah.
Not all who are Israel.
Yeah.
Because they won't accept the Messiah. And if not, your purpose is malfunctioned. It ain't working right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then anyway, it's a lot of theology there.
So we this is the first covenant with all of Israel. So we're just kind of moving along in the covenants. You have the covenant with Adam, you got Noah, you have Abraham, you have the same Abrahamic covenant repeated to his son Isaac, to Jacob after that, Israel, and now you have a kind of a new covenant to all of Israel.
Yeah, it is.
It's called the Mosaic covenant, is what they end up calling it.
I get a little uptight about covenant because it's like mutual promise agreement, right? You're signing. The thing that comes to Abraham is not mutual.
Yeah, that's right.
It's just God. He said, I'm going to do this.
Well, at first it is, if you'll go, like,
Yeah. But after the whole take your son up here and kill him, he's like, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, give us the big deal. What's the big deal about the Mosaic covenant or the journey out to Sinai?
It demonstrates God's provision to a bunch of hard-hearted people that just got delivered from slavery, and they're already like, "Oh, we wished we'd have died by our food pots in Egypt rather than come out here and die, you sorry dog." And Moses is like, "God, they're about to stone me," and he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna send them some manna, and I'm gonna give them some quails." And then they eat it, and like a little bit later, they're like, we hate this.
Yeah.
We're so sick of manna. It's coming out our nostrils. And it's like, so the big deal about that is you can't make nobody happy.
Yeah, you can't make
Not even God making people happy out there. He's giving them everything in the world, and they still ain't happy.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, miraculous food from heaven.
Yeah, it's like,
this kind of speaks to like the power of miracles. Like, and Jesus recognizes this in the Gospels. You know, I recognize it.
Yeah,
I mean, he talks about is what I mean. That there's just a ceiling on what the miracle will do for the heart.
Yep.
And people just can't get enough of them. And a lot of times they want the miracle, but they don't want faith. So the person
people want a celestial sugar daddy. They want a celestial pawpaw. They want a celestial pawpaw. They want Santa Claus. They want to sit in his lap and say, I would like this for Christmas. This is the girl I want to marry, and this is the house I want to live in. This is the car I want to drive, and this is the raise I want to have. And God's like, I can't give you any of that stuff. Mm-hmm. And they're like, well, why not, God? And it's because you would die.
Because it's bad for
you. You will destroy yourself.
Yeah.
None of it will make you happy. Yeah. It will all turn to trash and rot your soul.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is you're going to have a car wreck, and that's going to break your arm. And you're going to lay up for a long time and think, I nearly died.
And you're going to become humble. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, just that. And they're like, why'd you do this to me, God?
Yeah.
Can you think about times when you were for sure God was wrong in your life? Or were you like, have you ever asked God for anything? And he was like, nope.
Oh, absolutely.
And at the time, you were just turned upside down. You're like, God, why can't this be the way it's going to be? And then, like 10 years later, you look back and you're like, I don't even want to think about that. Like I was asking God to give me a serpent.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'd tell everybody I don't have $500 million because I'd be worthless.
I don't know. I think for me, I just didn't. I think I was blessed with folks who weren't total idiots telling me about stuff like that.
Good
when I was
deal.
Early on. Like I just didn't. I don't know. Like when you pray for things, that just wasn't the thing I dealt with. Like I prayed for, was taught to pray for things, and if it's the Lord's will, it's Lord's will. If it's not, then you don't need it. And so I think I learned that early or something.
I just thought maybe if I'd pray harder, he'd give me the stuff I wanted.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think it happens a lot.
Yeah. I think you're right. It's just that just
you pray
wasn't
for
my
a certain
story.
job.
Yeah.
You think this certain girl or this certain boy's for you, and you get broke up and your heart's broken. You're like, well, you did this to me, God.
Yeah.
And then you look back and you were like freaking Neo in the Matrix, dodging bullets out there, and you didn't even know. God was like, I got to get this out of here.
Yeah. I mean, even with all the stuff we've been through last year with Archers, like, I didn't really, that wasn't the thing. Like, I wasn't like, why did you do this to me? Or, I don't know. It just doesn't, it seems cliche and like
the peace of God.
I guess, it is that, but it's also like, I don't know. I guess that's what it is. It's a piece of God, because that's not been what I've.
Well, I've been through.
I get mad at people more than I get mad at the people like being idiots. Than
I don't get mad much anymore at all. I've just been through it so much.
Well, it's just like there's like the reality like that. There's a medication out there right now that has incredible benefits for Archer.
Yeah, he can't get it.
And that's right. He cannot get it. Will not be able to get it. Cannot get it right now. It is unavailable to him. And like, what stops you? Well, pencil pushers, bureaucracy in the government. That's what stops. And that ticks me off. But like, I'm not mad at God about that.
No. Well, we maybe could do a heist.
Yeah.
We should make a heist movie.
I think he will probably get it, next year.
Well, I was ready to go out and steal some stuff, man.
And they don't have enough of it. It's like part of the issue.
No, so we'd be stealing it from some other kid.
You would. You actually would. You'd be stealing it from an infant right now. So it's like, it's a hard thing.
I mean.
But the only thing stopping them production, though, is the pencil pushers, bureaucracy and everything. So
well.
It's a hard world.
Yes. Yeah. I know it. And sometimes you go through stuff, man, you get the peace of the Lord, and it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and for all that, like I'm not like despairing, so I don't know. It's okay.
Me neither.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes.
Yeah.
Mondays.
All right. That's, I think we can call it at that, guys. That's the big deal about the covenant at Mount Sinai. We were everywhere today.
The last big deal about it is he says, you got to do it.
You got to do it. And they said, we want to.
We said, we're going to keep all your rules.
Yeah.
And then they give them the 10 Commandments.
And we're going to do 10 Commandments next week.
And like the first one is like, don't have any other gods before me. Don't make any other gods in my image.
That they cannot stop doing.
They cannot stop it.
Gosh, yeah. All right. But we got to save it. Got to save it.
Okay.
Got to save it. All right. Hey, everyone. Thanks for listening to the Big Deal Podcast.
We appreciate you.
Appreciate you.